Well, liberals are shocked to discover that conservatives are starting to treat them the way they've always treated us. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott, and this is your right angle on the counterattack that the left has been provoking and is not really going to enjoy as much as I think they will regret it. Our friend Kurt Schlicter has an article over in Town Hall, and he has a great title. It's called Liberals Are Shocked to Find That We're Starting to Hate Them Right Back. And there's two things in here that I think I really want to get to, two really great quotes that Kurt wrote. And here's the first one. Steve, I'll send this one your way. He said, hypocrisy is poison not because it makes people stop knowing right from wrong, but because it makes its victims stop caring about right and wrong. He was talking about the guy who was beaten up by these left-wingers at an event, and everybody on the left thought that was just swell because you got to punch a Nazi is just fine. So what about the hypocrisy angle of it? You know, they accuse us of all kinds of violence and right-wingers in this, and yet we find it was the left that was provoking these violent outbursts at Trump rallies. It was the left that was paying people to come to these, these Black Lives Matter protests and so on. Do you think that we've had enough of this kind of nonsense and we're saying, okay, if you want to fight in the street, we'll fight in the street?
Yeah, and Kurt's whole point wasn't, watch out, buddy, or we're going to beat you up. What his point was, people are people, and you can only push them so far before they're finally going to get fed up and start hitting back. And I would prefer the hitting back to be metaphorical, but there's going to come a point. This is the point of Kurt's article where that's not going to work anymore because people are just too fed up. And what's interesting to me has been the outrage on the left, which Kurt generates better than almost anybody, but maybe you, Bill. And that is, we don't hate you. We're just on opposite side. You're our opponents. You're not the enemy. We don't hate you. But it's not true. I think all three of us took a lot of our cues from 8 years of Ronald Reagan. At least I know I did, and I try and follow that great example as best I can. And Reagan had just had this great sunny way of telling jokes about Democrats in particular, or the left in general. And his way of telling these jokes, it was always very gentle humor. G-rated stuff that he'd tell on the rubber chicken circuit as a candidate and then on TV. And these jokes were so well worn and also so timeless that he would start to laugh as he delivered them, just slowly bubbling up more and more as he would get to the punchline. And just great stuff. Go to YouTube and look for these clips. I think you're going to enjoy them no matter which side you're on. And he would make fun of Republicans too. And while Reagan was employing these this gentle humor and this sunny disposition of his, the left was saying Reagan's going to murder our children and nuke the world because he is an evil, violent man. That's what we've been dealing with, Bill, since at least the mid and late 70s, and this has come the point where we have said enough.
And just to give a quick example of what Stephen was saying, I paraphrase, Ronald Reagan would say, a recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose your job. A recovery is when Jimmy Carter loses his job.
It's just great stuff.
Scotty, I had a chance to interview somebody I admire very much on my after-hours show, an artist named Sabo, who's...
Those were good interviews.
Yeah, thank you. He's about the only streetwise guy with an actual honest-to-God eye for graphic design and real art, and he's doing real good work out there with his art and poking fun, which means completely deflating all the big celebrity egos here in Hollywood. But during that conversation, I discovered that he was at the Berkeley event, I think, with Milo, and he's been to a couple others as well. And he wasn't talking about fighting with street art. He was talking about coming to these events with baseball bats, watching the police disarm them, but not disarming the Antifa, cowards in their black masks and so on. But basically what he said was, these Antifa kids act like they're really tough, under their black masks, and it's one thing to smash a bank window and run away on camera. They said when you start actually fighting with them, they kind of back down. And I said to him, to Sabo, and this is the question I'd like to ask you, how do you explain to law and order conservatives, law and order people, that the situation has gotten so bad now where the police will not only not protect one side, but actually sit there and watch while people beat guys up with bicycle locks. How do you explain to the American people that this is what is necessary to suppress these cowards? Because nobody did it with the SA, nobody did it with the Cheka, nobody did it with the Red Guards, and somebody has to stop these fascists.
Well, I think you need to be ready to defend yourself, your family, those around you. That's at one level. I'm totally on board with Sabo and other people who say similar things. Showing up to pick a fight is another thing. And I don't think that those of us who believe in law and order should ever go into any situation of political discourse, so to speak, even if you know that the other side is prepared to commit acts of vandalism. Now, if you think the other side's going to come after you with a baseball bat, then I think you need to be prepared to defend yourself. So I think, I thought about, while you were introducing this topic, I thought about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and he prepared his people to take a beating. And I think that's the difference on the right is we've been complaining about taking a beating rhetorically for years, but we've never really been prepared to take a beating and had that singular focus that this is the mission that we're on and we're willing to take a beating in the pursuit of that. In fact, we're going to make our oppressors look worse by the fact that we act virtuously in the process. And so, it has not come to the point of the shedding of your blood for most of us at this point. I think it's tough to make that jump to Nazism immediately and say, well, if we let these SA guys run around and smash things, then that's inevitably we're going to wind up with Adolf Hitler. I do believe that there are enough people out there who act with integrity, who act with grace, who treat people the way they're supposed to be treated, and who are not willing to engage in the tactics of their opponent, even if they could achieve some level of success as a result of that. And I still fall in that camp that says, live your freedom, defend your family, do the right thing.
It's what all of us believe. But unfortunately, we're finding that taking that elegant and graceful attitude is simply allowing this to be encouraged. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. These guys who are standing up and defending conservatives at these events where these Antifa cowards are rioting and looking for conservatives to beat up, they're not going there looking for a fight. They've never been looking for a fight. We don't have Antifa. We don't go walking down the streets of Hollywood smashing windows in the MGM building. We don't do it. They're doing it. And what we're finding is the world has gotten so badly out of control here in America now that it takes a bodyguard of conservatives in order to stop them from being attacked. This is a bad, bad, bad situation, and we have one person really to blame for this, and we know who that person is for 8 years. This constant demonization of the conservatives as enemies and Hitler and all the rest. It's a bloody mess, is what it is. Two things from the Schlicter article that I think are really germane to close on. First of all, he says, it's a quote, he says, we conservatives have been warning for a long time that liberals are not going to like it when everybody plays by the new rules, and surprise, they don't. This is something that never ceases to amaze me. The people, and by the way, this is the only thing that gives me peace at night, allows me to sleep at night, really, truly is. For the first time ever, the collectivists, the leftists, the ones who do all of the violence and all of the coercion and all of the silencing of opinion, they're the ones who aren't armed. It's the supposed victims who are armed to the teeth and for this reason. So yeah, there's going to come a point where they cross a line, and nobody wants that to happen. But the other thing he said was in the article, Kurt said Lincoln mentioned the better angels of our neighbor. He said it was also at a time when Democrats were rejecting the rule of law to provoke their subjugation of those they considered lesser beings. And basically his point is, yes, it's nice to appeal to the better angels of our nature, but they have to be angels, not angels and demons. It's easy to demonize the other side, and I understand Scott brings that up all the time. But I don't see conservatives smashing buildings. I don't see conservatives setting things on fire. I don't see conservatives beating up liberals on college campuses. Not only do I not see a minority of it, I don't see any of it. It comes a point when you're going to have to understand that these people, small percentage of left-wingers who are committed to violence, if the police will not protect conservatives and citizens, then somebody else is going to have to. And they don't want to push this button. I'm telling you they don't, but they will. because they've lost their ever-loving minds. That's why. Things are going to get worse before they get better, I suspect, but they will get better. I have a long and deep abiding belief of that. In any event, we'll be here to find out for you, so thanks again for watching. Thanks especially for our members at BillWhittle.com for making the show possible.